and welcome back to For the Joy of Learning. My name is Shayla LaTaraka.
And I'm Chris LaTaraka, Shayla's husband.
Yes, I'm so glad that he is joining me on video today.
Yes.
So a couple weeks ago, we did a little teaser called A Father's Perspective, where Chris talked a little bit about his excitement of watching the children learn. And so we wanted to come back to you today so he could share a little bit more from that direction. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Please fire away with any questions. I've made myself available to the public.
Thank you for taking time today. So my first question, and the main question, is what subjects do you teach here in the home, since we're specifically talking homeschooling?
All right. A good question. I think that's a great question, actually. So I guess there's probably looking at it, there's probably a couple different things. We teach more your traditional classes or traditional material, and then say a little bit out of the box type teaching. So first off is math. My wife and I have kind of come up with a little system here for math because she was having some struggles with having my son really just want to sit down for 15 minutes and do it. And so finally she said, you know what? That's your job. And it's worked out really well. I've taken it over. Sometimes she does have to remind me and my Anthony that we have to do math today. Sometimes I forget. But again, different perspective. I think that me and him have connected. I think my temperament or my personality has worked well with getting him to do it where it doesn't feel like he's under torture. And I also came up with a little reward system. And I think that's one of the things that as a father, I think that has been a benefit. Mm-hmm. Coming up with different ideas to not just entice your kid, but a little bit of enticement, but it also then doesn't make them what they're doing painful. That, and they are learning. And then all of a sudden, after the bribery, and they've been doing it for a while, they realize, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing here. I'm learning. And it's actually kind of fun. Yeah. And then you get things like, with both my kids, and teaching them, say, with sports. Whether it's my daughter for softball or my son for baseball. And again, this is learning. This is, you're teaching them not only the aspects of playing the game, but you're teaching them how to be a good teammate. You're teaching them the responsibility of, knowing your position, knowing what to do with the ball. So there's all different aspects. And so as a father, we can really look at our role as sort of overall. It's not just we're teaching one thing like we learn in school where you go from math to science to English. No, that's not life. Life is a whole big smorgasbord of stuff. And so as a father, I think we have the temperament in some ways. We can make things fun. I think that, and I had mentioned this many times earlier with Shayla, that I think that we're not afraid to let our kids fail. We're not, we want to push them a little further out to the edge to get them to expand themselves. And I think moms are just great at, as we're getting them to the edge, moms are like, okay, that's far enough because they're going to fall off and die. So I think those are some of the balances that can really be good.
One of the things I've noticed too is how you bring some competition to make some of these chores or life skills fun.
Good point.
For instance, like putting clothes away.
Yeah, we make, I don't know any kid that likes to put clothes away, but anyways, my son really, my daughter did a great job of that always, and but Anthony, my son, is terrible. But eventually I came up with some competition. Who can put their clothes away the fastest wins. Yep. What do you win? Who knows?
Bragging rights.
That's it.
That's it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. And so then it becomes, as you have this competition, you instill a behavior, though. A behavior that the clothes have to get done. And eventually, it becomes part of their life. It just becomes part of their day. And these are the things that kids need to learn, is a lot of life is behavior. And good behavior and bad behavior, and how we're successful as people I think these are the lessons that dads can incorporate, things like competition, things like pushing them to their limits type thing. And
do you have an aha moment that you've had either with Soraya or with Anthony where you've been teaching him something, maybe they've been struggling to get something, and then all of a sudden you see like that light bulb go on with them and they figured it out and they're succeeding at something that's been really hard for them up until that point?
I mean, that's a good question. I think that I think aha moments are kind of it's most of life is just a progression. Like all of a sudden you look, you see somebody, a kid one year and they're 3.5 feet tall. Then you see them the next year, they're 4 feet tall. And so 6 inches they grew, but every day you didn't really see much difference. But if you take over a whole year, so I think most of what I see is just that as I look back and I go, wow, I can't believe the difference, and it makes you so proud as a parent. I mean, we do talk about how when my son was learning how to ride the bike, I didn't know he didn't even know how to ride his bike. Sure. And it was, my wife had struggled with, I didn't realize that there was this big struggle going on with him learning how to ride the bike. So finally that one day I just said, let's go. We'll go to the park. I'll get an area. We'll get a nice big open parking lot, and we'll do it. And within an hour, he could ride his bike. That was like an aha moment where, for him, more than me, it was like, whoa, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that was exciting as a parent. I mean, I think the aha moments almost for them is bigger than even for us. So, I mean, I can remember as a child myself feeling like that with certain things. So,
Cool. Anything else you want to add to this father's perspective moment?
I would say that, look. I think sometimes I struggle with trying to see the opportunities that are available. And I think that we have to, sometimes we just have to stop, be quiet, listen, and observe. And figure out, there's things going on here I can jump in and do. But I wasn't really observing or listening that my son couldn't ride his bicycle. I didn't know. Now, if I had been a little bit better at that, I could have picked up on it. We could have started it earlier. We could have enjoyed more time together doing it. My son could have been learning how to ride earlier, and then he would have been able to enjoy riding a bike.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are things that I would say that's how I would kind of look at it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, thank you, honey, for joining in today into the conversation. And thank you for joining us as well. We hope that you're enjoying these videos and that they're helpful for you. Remember to like us over on Facebook at For the Joy of Learning 20. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you know when we come out with a new video. Thanks so much and have an awesome week.